Ourselves, yeah.
That's all right.
Thank you.
You're Claire, I take it.
I'm Claire.
Nice
Robert.
to meet you.
Robert, the audience. Robert is working currently as a paramedic. Are you a Robert or a Bob?
Rob.
Rob, even better.
I've
So
been
Rob is
called
currently
worse.
working as a paramedic. He's here to talk to you about the paramedic role. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. There's some technology there somewhere.
Oh yeah, there.
So, yeah, obviously got the best slot right at the end, and I'm sure you're really, really riveted to see me. I will be brief, I promise, okay? I won't drag on. So my title is Paramedic Practitioner, okay? All throughout my ambulance career, I've confused people with job titles. When I first started, I was an ambulance technician. People thought I'd fix the ambulances. So, yeah, it's been confusing. Some people know what we do, some people don't. My background, therefore, is mainly in the acute setting, becoming a paramedic in 2009, and then becoming this title, paramedic practitioner. So essentially what I did was another degree in urgent care, a 2-year degree in line with St George's and my local ambulance trust, which was CCAM, South East Coast Ambulance Trust. So you're probably aware of that trust. The idea was that within the ambulance service we weren't seeing, and we still don't see, a great deal of true emergency work. We see a lot of social, urgent, domestic work really. So the idea was that we were going to be educated and trained up to manage that high percentage, high proportion of patients that we see. Brilliant idea, brilliant course, several modules including minor health, minor injury, clinical reason, pharmacology, paediatrics and the elderly population. Really, really good course, really challenging, really developed me. However, when I went back to the ambulance service, and this is me and my colleagues, my peers I suppose, we weren't really being utilised in that role because of pressures, time pressures, resources, etc. So we were being used as single responders to wait for an hour, 2 hours for some backup to pick up generally people who've fallen. So it was a little bit frustrating. We weren't using the skills, we weren't using the knowledge. So I left 2016. I also work as a lecturer at Cambridge Christchurch, and someone else works there as well. Can't say I've seen you, but I do that part-time. And the other part-time of my role is working for a practice in Tunbridge Medical Group. What I do there essentially is I run my own clinics, morning, afternoon, I do home visits. My colleague, another paramedic practitioner, she works one half of the week, I work the other half of the week. The types of job we're expected to see, expected to do, essentially are the acute presentations on the day, so people with coughs, colds, chest pains, sore ears, sprains, strains, that can be managed and assessed and diagnosed by myself. That's the bulk of the work. Acute wounds I'm used to, and sometimes we get that as walk-ins where patients come to us as a surgery. I can treat that, and I know there's a little bit of money in that, so that is a bonus for the surgery when that happens. Chronic wounds, and this is really employing, I guess, as a paramedic, the desire to keep learning, keep pushing, keep moving forward, and keep just wanting to do anything and everything that's going on really. Learning from the nurses, also my own experience dealing with some chronic wounds. When we have some gaps in the nursing, they will use me and my colleague to actually see patients in that area as well. That's not the majority of work, but because we're quite flexible as paramedics, you know, we're able to pick up these different roles. Although I do a lot of acute work, I'm quite happy, and this is the flexibility area of the paramedic practitioner, because each surgery that I know of that employ someone like me will employ us in a slightly different role depending on the needs of that surgery. So I know other surgeries will use paramedics or PPs, we call ourselves, more as a front-loaded emphasis on triage. They will deal with the patient calls in the morning, they will sort out what's suitable for perhaps a GP, nurse practitioner, paramedic practitioner. other surgeons will use us primarily for home visits. So it's a really flexible role, and it's because it's been developed, it's quite a new role, it's got that added bonus that it can be tailored and sort of adapted to where it's needed really. And that is really the mindset, I'd say, of a paramedic as well, that we're quite tenacious, we can be quite stubborn and awkward sometimes, but we are able to adapt. That's the core aspect of our job. And we can adapt within primary care as well. And I'm happy to work alongside the GPs as well. This is a really important part of what I do. Although I'm autonomous in many areas, one of the great things about what I do is working alongside GPs, learning, developing in terms of complex cases, where I can gain that feedback, to gain my own development and my own knowledge. Generally, it's been really good. From where I work, I've been there nearly 2 years, 18 months to 2 years. The feedback from the patient is really, really positive. They're very relieved, they're very keen to be able to get an appointment. Most of the time it's something I can deal with. If not, there's always support available. The partners themselves are very happy I'm still there, so they haven't got rid of me yet, so they must be keen. Now they are, I've spoken to them and they're really keen. And they've seen me grow, and I've become a very sort of valued, or my colleague and I have become a very valued part of the practice. As I said before, we're used to making decisions, we're used to assessing people autonomously and comprehensively, so we've got a lot of skill set, and we tend to bring a lot of experience of dealing with people as well. And with support, we do work really well. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, I think we do work quite well in that environment. And we are flexible to fit in the gaps. Prescribing has been okay now, so my surgery and many other surgeries are willing to support us through prescribing, and to me that's the next logical step. With certain areas of practice, doesn't mean that I'm able to or want to prescribe in every single area, but within certain areas of practice that is the next step, and it will make so much more sense in terms of freeing up time for the practice, improving patient experience, all those sort of things. So that is something that I will do. All my colleagues who are working during practice, we've all been waiting for this, so we're all very much going to be taking on the opportunity to do a prescribing course. So that's about me. I don't want to say any more because I've already spoken 5-10 minutes. I don't know if questions or that's it really.
Thank you, Rob, very much.
Okay.